Thank you. Member for Rongo.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 259D 2A, I rise to pay tribute to the former Member of Parliament for Rongo, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno, EGH, EBC, who passed away on 7 September 2025. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno Anyango was born on 19th April 1945. He was an alumni of Strathmore College, where he pursued his A-levels before proceeding to Makerere University in Uganda for his undergraduate studies. He graduated in 1971 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Applied Economics. He began his professional career in 1971 as an accounts manager for insurance agency management, where he served until 1982. He thereafter joined the Kenya Commercial Bank board as chairman for 3 years before taking up senior roles, including treasurer of Kenyatta University Council and later chairman of Tasley Consultants. Honorable Speaker, the late Dalmas Otieno political legacy spans over 3 decades of distinguished public service, having begun in 1988, where he was elected as the first Member of Parliament for Rongo constituency. He served in 4 terms of Parliament, namely 6th Parliament, 1988 to 1992, 7th Parliament, 1992 to 1997, the 10th Parliament, 2007 to 2013, and the 11th Parliament, 2013 to 2017. In the 7th Parliament, he served as a nominated member, while in the 10th and 11th Parliaments, he successfully vied and was re-elected as Member of Parliament for Rongo. It is notable that across the 6th, 7th, and 10th Parliaments, he was appointed to the Cabinet, where he held several ministerial portfolios, including Minister for Industry, Labour, Transport, and Public Service. In the 11th Parliament, he served in the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security and Select Committee on Implementation. Honorable members who served alongside him will recall his active participation in debates and his substantive contributions on matters relating to education and financial sectors. He was also appointed to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, where he served as the vice chairperson from 2018 until his resignation in 2022. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno played a pivotal role in the establishment of Rongo University, Siala Technical Institute, and Miare Agricultural Training College, and further extended his support to society by financing the education of hundreds of students, including orphaned children. He was equally devoted to fostering peace and promoting community development through dialogue, economic empowerment, and support for sustainable livelihoods. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno leaves behind a rich legacy as a pragmatic leader valued for his insight in governance and in his steadfast service to the people, which will forever be cherished. On my own behalf and the people of my constituency, I wish to take this opportunity to condole with his family, relatives, friends, and the people of Kenya at large. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Jeanette.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join the Member of Parliament for Rongo in condoling with the family of Honorable Dalmas Otieno Anyango. Mr. Speaker, we come from the same county with Honorable Dalmas, and we served together 1 term in Parliament, in the 11th Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, that is a man who had a very distinguished career in public service. Mr. Speaker, and he was one of the most astute politicians that this country has produced. Mr. Speaker, he was the member of parliament, I think, for Rongo for, I think, 3 or 4 terms. And I'm sure you have served with him also in parliament, and I'm sure he was your friend. Mr. Speaker, he was a very friendly person. I remember a famous speech of his that he made in this house in the year 2015 or 14. I can't remember the exact date. I was also in parliament. And he spoke about being an insider, an outsider, and again an insider, in power and outside power, Mr. Speaker. And it was very hilarious. And I remember that day the House was very happy to listen to his wisdom on what it is to be in power and out of power. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Dalmas has initiated a lot of development in our county. The university that today we enjoy in Migori County, called Rongo University, was initiated by him. He has brought many, many things, schools. He has built many schools. He has built many hospitals. He has done a lot of tarmac road. Mr. Speaker, that is one of the people that Migori people used to look up to all the time until when he stopped representing them. Lastly, he was the vice chair of the Salary and Remuneration Commission until he felt that he wanted to serve the people of Migori as a governor in the last election. But unfortunately, he was running on the wrong party, and he didn't manage it. But, Mr. Speaker, that is one man, his legacy and history will remain behind in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues to join us. His burial is on the 2nd, and I think today also there is a function being presided over by none other than the Speaker, if I'm not wrong, in the evening to help him, to help the family in giving him a decent send-off. So if you can join us today, and then also on the 2nd of October, when his burial will be happening in Kangezo village, in Rongo constituency, we'll be very happy because he was a member of parliament, he was our colleague, he served this country, he has done a lot of good things for this nation, and he was a national asset. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to condole again with the family, and may God stand with them at this trying moment, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Owen Baya.
Mike. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues, the MP for Rongo, and also the minority leader, to condole with the family of Dalmas Otieno Onyango. Honorable Speaker, for the person of Dalmas, a person who worked tirelessly for this nation in different capacities, Honorable Speaker, a man who served this country with distinction, Honorable Speaker, a man who never shied away from responsibilities, Honorable Speaker, and did his best for this country. I wish that the Lord God rest his soul in peace. Honorable Speaker, I want to draw you to one particular incident about Dalmas and I. I was a young university student, very young, and I decided to go pursue masters then. And at that time, as a teacher, when you get study leave to go and pursue your studies, Honorable Speaker, they would give you 80% of your salary when you're on study leave. But they will deduct 20% and keep it away. Then there was a circular that said even the 20% can now be given back to the student and you get a full salary. So I was at KU studying very hard. Then I got absolutely broke and I didn't have money at all. And I had chased for this 20% for like 5 months. And nobody wants to listen to me in Ministry of Education and DPM. So one day, I walked to DPM office, Department of Personnel Management. I walked there. And I met this tall man who looked at me and said, "Young man, what are you doing here so early in the morning?" And I said, "You know, my name is Owen Baya. I am from the university and I'm trying to get my money, which people here have refused to give me." And all those secretaries who were there were trying to pull me away so that I don't talk to him. But Dalmas just came and held my hand and took me to his office and asked me, "What do you want?" And I explained to him. And he called everybody. That day, I want to tell you, Honorable Speaker, I walked away from that office with my check because Dalmas said this young man must be given his check, Honorable Speaker. That is one event that will forever remain etched in my memory, the memory of good things that Dalmas did, Honorable Speaker. And he looked at me, I said, young man, where are you from? I told him, I'm from Giriama. I am a Giriama from. He said, you see, we want everybody in this country to have an equal opportunity, an equal chance to prosper. And Honorable Speaker, I can assure you after that, I was able to finish my master's very fast, graduated, and I thank Dalmas Otieno for helping me get that accolade. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And you are able to prosper.
Yes.
Those I'll give you 2 minutes each. Chair, budget.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to join the Member of Parliament for Rongo and my colleagues who are passing their condolences to the family of Honorable Dalmas Otieno, and to say, Honorable Speaker, that I knew Dalmas in person. And Honorable Speaker, Dalmas was a clean person. He was clean and he used to dress sharply. Honorable Speaker, I learned the spirit of dressing well from Dalmas. Honorable Speaker, Dalmas was also very clean at home. When you would go to his home was very, very clean and neat. And Honorable Speaker, Dalmas is one guy that maintained that even in his home, you had to use a napkin to eat. Honorable Speaker, you know, most of us are very careless at home. We just pick food and eat. But Honorable Speaker, for Dalmas, in his home, you must eat using a napkin. You must tuck in the napkin. Honorable Speaker, away from that, Honorable Dalmas was very wise. One of the politicians who was very wise was blessed with wisdom, but he was also very, very brainy. He was full of brains. In terms of development, Honorable Speaker, Dalmas was a development-focused leader. What Honorable Junet Mohamed has said is true, that there are so many development programs that are attributed to Honorable Dalmas in the larger Luo community. He was a man who loved peace. Honorable Speaker, in my first term, I sat in the Committee of Finance and National Planning, and Dalmas was the Vice Chairman of Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Most of the time, he was the one who would come to defend the budgets and any issues that touched on SRC before the committee. And we loved him because he was able to persuade us and convince us. During that time, Honorable Speaker, we were protesting about giving SRC their full budgets because they had interfered with our issues here as Parliament. But when Dalmas came, he was able to convince us, and we were able to, respond positively. May the soul of Dalmas rest in eternal peace.
Bet Simba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa niaba ya eneo bunge la Kisauni, nasimama kuomboleza na ndugu na familia ya mwenda zake. Nasema poleni sana kwa msiba mkubwa ambao mmeupata. Lakini yetu kikubwa ni kwamba tunamwombea Mungu amsamehe madhambi yake, amweke katika watu wema. Na pia hii tunashukuru kwa wakati wake aliotumia kutumikia taifa hili. Alikuwa anakaa usiku mwingi kufikiria taifa litasonga mbele namna gani. Ni vyema kila mmoja wetu aweze kumwombea katika hii safari anaoenda. Na pia hii ni kwamba ni ishara ama funzo kwamba kila mmoja wetu ajue ataondoka kwa ulimwengu. Hakuna ambaye atabaki katika ulimwengu huu. Kwa hivyo yale ambayo tunatekeleza katika jumba hili na yale tunayoyafanya katika uongozi wetu, tuhakikishe kwamba tunafanya mazuri, kwa sababu ile safari ndugu yetu ametangulia, mjue na sisi pia safari ni hiyo hiyo. Kwa hivyo tufanye mema ili tuende tupande mazuri ili tukavune yale ambayo tumeyapanda hapa. Mimi niliwahi kufanya kazi na Mheshimiwa Dalmas katika bunge la 11, na alikuwa mtu mpole na alikuwa msikilivu licha ya kuwa amekuwa kwa muda mrefu katika shughuli ya uongozi. Kwa hivyo langu ni kusema poleni familia, na namwombea Mungu aiweke mahali pema, aweke roho yake mahali pema peponi. Asante.
Jalango.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also mourn one of the key pillars of our community, the Luo community, and its leadership. I knew Dalmas Otieno, Anyango, as one of the leaders that inspired most of us to join politics, to be effective in legislation, and also just to champion leadership that anchors itself into development. If you knew Dalmas Otieno, even in every single meeting that he used to have, even in the constituency back here in Nairobi, you'd never hear him throw insults to anyone on a personal level. He anchored himself on a clean slate of campaigns where people would compete in agendas. And that one can be seen and is a testimony from all the members here who have already spoken on his track record on matters development. More so, I also mourn him and with the family, the wife, Madam Dorothy Anyango, was also my classmate in primary school. So just not mourning the leader himself, but we are also mourning much more of a family member. May his soul rest in peace. And see you guys in Kangeso on the 2nd for the burial. We'll also join you today, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have lost quite a wonderful visionary leader, Dalmas Otieno Anyango. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Mdewa community and my family, I'm not just offering because he came from Rongo, but he's also a relative. Dalmas was married, first wife was from Mdewa, Kanyamua, actually my home, my village. But I want us to condole him and remember what he stood for. As young people, we really aspired Dalmas because he went to Makerere. And those days, the class of university was that. And to get a degree was something. He was a scholar, experienced, and educated. But one thing that we can always celebrate as people when we are still on the planet Earth is how to exercise power through humility. That is what he was. Clean politics, never abused anybody. I want to urge the family to stay strong. May God give them the strength. It is a difficult time, but through God's grace and power, they will see this through. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kainan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dalmas, as a businessman under the BT group of companies, I've also interacted with him as a minister, as a member of parliament, and finally as a commissioner with the SRC. So, Speaker, one of the things that I have really learned from him, in your first interaction, the man was genius. Even if you had a debate or an altercation with him, the first thing is he will humble you with his infectious laughter. Before even you commence the issue, you're already humbled. And one of the things that I have learned also from him is in politics, remember the political class are always second to your family members. So what Dalmas will do, he will say, this is politics, and you know the background, how the politics was a bit hostile at the times. He will say, this is any politician is a member of his extended family. Mr. Speaker, later on when he became a member of the SRC, he acted as a critical link person between the institution of parliament and SRC, and finally helped us solve some of the problems that have been affecting the institution of parliament. So to the people of Rongo, to the family, and to all friends, we say pole, and I'm sure God has a purpose for everything. Poleni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I interacted with Dalmas not as a member of parliament, but on the streets the days when the teachers would go on strike every December. And when he was in the public service, he's the one who actually gave teachers study leave with pay that leader talked about. And then number two, when he noticed that the government was not able that time to pay pensioners, we still have the same challenge. He extended the retirement age from 55 to 60 because he said those 5 years, these people are still too strong and they should work. Number 3, he's actually the man who founded what we are now having as the Public Service Superannuation Scheme, the contributory pension scheme for both public service teachers and the police. And when we met him, we were a very hostile group of trade unionists, but he humbled us with his geniusness, and we were able to accept, and it's working. Finally, there's a time when we had actually hidden some document from government, yet the government has signed it. It was called legal notice number 116. And yet teachers would go on strike because of legal notice number 534. Dalmas, in one of the sessions that we were negotiating, walked in with legal notice number 116, and all of us just went away and we called off the strike. We can never forget Dalmas. He was a genius, a real serious public servant, and we remember him for that. May the people of Rongo, we take our condolences to the people of Rongo as they mourn Dalmas Otieno, a very brilliant son of Kenya.
Kamkunji, member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this obituary of our colleague, late colleague, Dalmas Otieno. I had the opportunity to serve in this chamber in the 10th and the 11th Parliament. And although he was senior to me, I had a very good relationship in which I really had the opportunities to have conversations. And he was always a very good listener. And I had a lot of, learned a lot about his experience as a former cabinet secretary in the Kenyan government. And the reforms and the ideas he brought to those ministries, which had changed the bureaucratic structure and the work of those ministries to serve the Kenyan people much better. The other thing that I also learned while he was here is that he was a gifted man. He had the gift of the gab. He was a great orator who could express himself very fluently and very clearly. It was wonderful to see how he used this particular chamber to articulate his ideas as well as serve his constituency. I think he was he had a very high sense of professionalism and an exceptional leadership qualities. And I send my condolences to his family and friends, and may he rest in peace.
Carole Omondi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. You will recall you and the dearly departed Dalmas Otieno employed me as the first General Counsel and eventually the Chief Executive of Energy Regulatory Board, Electricity Regulatory Board, now EPRA. Dalmas was quite a phenomenon. And I remember when we worked together in the Grand Coalition, we initiated together with a gentleman called Sylvester Obongo the Rapid Results Initiative, how to fast-track government delivery system. And he was also very helpful to our political movement in the run-up to 2007 general elections. And he was part of our strategy team. He did quite a lot in development, as you have heard, about Rongo University, and very many initiatives, educating quite a large number of students in Rongo and beyond. He was also a very strong businessman. I think the first member of the Luo Nation to own a financial institution, Thabiti. So we have a lot to say about Dalmas. But I would like to invite all of us in the space of politics to reflect on his life and to ask ourselves, how do we treat those with whom we don't always agree? How do we engage with those who have different political opinions? Do we have the wisdom to pull together, to save the country, to serve the country? Or are we always on the extreme end of the divide? Other than praising him, I think it is important that we learn and draw some lessons from his life and his politics. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may the perpetual light shine upon him. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Up there, I served with Dalmas Otieno in this house from the 7th Parliament. We were members of the IPPG that brought some bit of political sanity to the country when it was spiraling towards a chaotic political election, and we have been good friends. The Kangeso School that was mentioned by Junet and Abor, the first Harambe to start that secondary school was presided over by yours truly here on his invitation, and we have maintained up to his demise a very cordial relationship. He visited me in my chambers up here 3 weeks before passing away, where we sat, and he was very jovial, always talking about Kenya. And those of you who are in the 2013 Parliament, you know he was one of the people who started and conceived CORD as a coalition and decided to go to elections. So we have lost a great man, and we will be at Kangeso to see him off on 2nd. May I request you to be upstanding to observe a minute's silence? Even those in the gallery, you be upstanding. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Next. Honorable Ken Chonga.
Thank you, Speaker. It's a request for a statement regarding delayed payment of pensions under the National Water Conservation and Pipeline Corporation Staff Superannuation Fund. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, subsection 2, subsection C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning regarding delayed payment of pensions under the National Water Conservation and Pipeline Corporation Staff Superannuation Scheme. Honorable Speaker, former employees of the National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority who retired between 2018 and 2023 upon attaining mandatory age of 60 years are yet to receive their full retirement benefits. The employees